Okay, so I'm going to go over and explain how to use a photo to draw a 3D model in Sketchup using the photo match modeling from photos. So here's a tutorial that explains it. I'm just going to go through and create and try and figure it out. So we've got this as a reference. So let's just open up Sketchup. So here we are, and we'll just start with architectural design millimeters as the template. So we can start using Sketchup. So we open it up. So if we go to tools, and no, it's not in there. Let's go back to our instruction and have a look. So select camera and then photo, match new photo. So let's just put this on the side so we can see what we're doing. So camera, a new photo, match photo. So I've got some photos on the desktop that I took, so we can probably just check these. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So we can see the middle one's probably the best, the angles to get both sides of the store. So if we select that one and open, and we're left with a whole lot of grids to match to our model. So we need to then start lining these up with known points. So I'm going to use this billboard as one, so we can get quite accurate in here. And let's use the roof line for this one. So if we follow maybe the roof line will be good. Something like that. So we're trying to match the perspective of the model. So there's some instructions here that we can follow. So here, let's follow this part up the top. I'm only going to model half the shop, but let's use the whole facade to start with, because it's a duplication anyway. So here, let's go up and use the front of these. I think will be a good place. So that's looking pretty good. So we're starting to get everything in line, I think. So we need to also move our corner. So we're going to move him over to the corner of the building. How's that looking? So let's try there, because that does set back a bit. We haven't got a very good front face, but we'll just see how that goes, because it does sort of step back. We can see in here and in here. That's looking pretty good now. So we can check we've done everything. Okay. So let's just go back and check what we've done in Chrome. So open, so we've done that. We've aligned all the tools, so that's looking pretty good. So we've lined all those up. So that's a lot of specific information. Now we can start drawing. So click the done button and so invoke matching context menu. Okay, so let's have a look. Done. So that's now aligned. So there's a few things you can see, the ground sort of changing and probably our scale's a bit out, but we'll be able to figure those out shortly. And now we can actually start drawing. So in this case it's actually quite a simple box as the main face that we're working on. So let's go back and start doing some rectangles. So I've just done an R. So let's do one. How can we get it to force? It's not forcing on the face. Why is it not doing that? let's draw some lines to start with then to get us going. There, and we want to force in the red. Down. So we've got some things going on there, so let's just check back and see in the tutorial. So basically start drawing around and then we can move back between the two. Okay. So trying to join these up, something's not quite right. So that's got it. So we have got a face there. Why is that not staying? Right. Okay. Okay. So that's working better now. So we'll just do another rectangle. Don't normally like going over, but what that does is it's forced us to make sure that's right. So I'm just going to extrude that down the length. So now we've got a big cube, so if I hit orbit, you can see I've drawn a big box, and when I orbit around we've moved it out of that process. So if we just go back to camera, camera position, how do we get back to that? There. So the little gears bottom. So I wasn't too sure, but I just played around. So up in the photo match dialog, I pushed the gears, and now we're back into the same area. So let's draw some more bits on here. So if we do a little rectangle, so we can zoom in. Oh, wrong button. So L for line. There, up to. Let's just go up to there. Down. And I want it to force it up and down, so use the up arrow. Something's gone a bit funny there. So you can see I haven't quite got that in line, so I'm going to undo that. Delete that line. So you've got to make sure that you're on the right axis. So go back to line tool, so on edge, and then go straight up. So I'm on the blue axis, across, and then I'm on the red axis, down, and that just tapers in slightly. What do we got here? I think I've jumped the gun. Let's just delete that, because there's some elements on the front that I need to push back. So I've tried to get that side, so let's draw a line across here to there. Let's see. So there's quite a pipe thing in here. So I'm just going to pause the video and then I'll come back once I've drawn some more. So I've drawn a couple of rectangles on the front and sort of pushed them back. So here you can see I've pushed that top surface back to align with the photo, and this one here. I'll just show you what I've done. So I'm going to do another rectangle down here, so I can sort of mouse over that last one and infer off that. So I'm now getting it right, so I'm sort of just getting it pretty close. And then I can push pull. So I'm going to push that in and get it to align on that other face. So we know that I've been pushed back the same amount. what else do we need to do here? So there's a bit of a column in front, so I'm going to ignore that Kiwi Trophy sign to start with. So I'm going to draw another rectangle, sort of line it up with there and figure out that it's going to be roughly there, and I can infer off the correct point up there, so I can sort of just bring it down and I can see, make sure that it's about right. So it's going to be about there, and I can push pull that in as well, so I can just push that in till I start hitting the edge. So you can see now I've got that front face. I'm going to come back and fix up that front surface later, and I'm not going to be too bothered about this one, so I'll just quickly do something similar. So we've got the whole piece modelled up, so again infer off that, come across and sort of bring that down. This one's a bit different because we've got the door. Zoom back up. Where do we want to be? Probably is that one there. Right, and then we can push that back. It's not exact, but for us to start with, it's going to be good enough. Let's see. So what else have we got? I'm not going to worry about the billboard on the side, unless you can draw that on if you want. I'm going to pull into here and draw our door. So let's see. That's a bit off, but close enough, so we can do the outside, which is probably coming off the face, so I'm going to just pull that out, say 20mm, or I don't know how much. We'll just see what that does. So that's perfect, that lines up about right. And then I want to do another. We might need to come back and fix some of these up, so I can just pull that in slightly once we come back and start modelling it up properly. So we need to draw a window up here, so I'm going to draw it down, making sure I stay on the blue, back across on the red axis and right up and inferred. I'm going to stop there and go up and pick the, can I do that? Why is it not picking the radius tool, rectangle? What's the shortcut for the radius tool? It's tools. Done. So I needed to push done on that. So radius tool. So let's zoom in. So you can actually see I didn't make those lines quite tall enough. So I'm gonna what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Just delete them. Delete that one and delete that one. Put them in. So line L for the line tool. Start at the bottom and come up to a bit higher this time, and then push escape, and then do another line. So up. So you can see the benefit of zooming in. So then now we go to the arch tool, and I'm going to go there, and then the end of my arch, and then up until we get that arch right there. So I've sort of cut out the window. I can push pull that in, so push pull into about there. Got to get it pretty close. So we've sort of got that set up now. So I'm going to do the same down here, so that line, let's zoom up, that paid off last time. And then escape, and then come down and do that one again. And it made sure that it's inferred across to that point. Escape, and then the arch tool, and there at the end, and then sort of go up. Something like that. So we'll come back and check these later on. But you can start to see now we're getting some good windows. So I'm going to come in and model some of these in, and we'll have a look. I'll just pause for now. So I have just drawn in some of the windows and some detail around the top. I can come back and draw some more. I'm not going to draw these beautiful weird round things or the plates along the bottom. You can assume that they're not there. We just sort of want the core structure of the building. So I'm just going to come in and use another tool, which is a tape measure tool, and you can get that by pressing T. And I'm going to infer some lines that I can then work off. So I'm going to click on the edge of that line and bring it across to there, so I can start to generate some of the opening. And I want to bring one up from there for the windows as well. So I'll just try and get it roughly in the middle, and that'll be close enough. I've got a feeling the windows probably aren't that straight anyway, looking at how well they've been crafted. So I'm just going to sort of set up some bits. Because of the view that we're looking, we can't get in around this column, so I'm just going to leave some of those things and bring the elements over from the other side. Let's see how we go. So what do we need? So we're on that face. So already we've drawn all that timber. I just want to cut some holes for the window. So if I put R for rectangle, and it should click in there. Hopefully this is going to work. We'll see. It may not, and we could have been completely off. Looks like I was. So let's just try and do it from up here. Let's zoom in from that intersection and then down. So you can see I've done something not quite right. So they haven't actually worked out very well. So somewhere, somehow, that's not right. So I'm going to undo those, and I'm actually going to delete all these lines I've put in. So something didn't quite work out in here. So I'm going to come back and try another plan. So I'm going to do a rectangle, and I'm going to just sort of line it up. There we go, that was a pretty good guess. And then come down to roughly about there. So I've cut that opening, and I'm going to push that back in until we hit that corner. So this is an interesting situation, because that front step is actually on a bit of an angle, so I'm going to need to lift it up. So I'm going to come in and just select that bottom line and hit M for move, and then lift up. So to do that I need to push the up arrow, and it will force it up. So straight away you can start to see our corner there is aligning much better, and we're going to need to pull some of these pieces down as well. In a sense we've got a bit of a step in here that takes in the slope of the shop. So at the moment I've got nothing in here, so I'm going to pull these down roughly to where I want them to be. So I'm going to hit M and then mouse over that end point and try and bring it down, staying on the blue axis. So you can see there I'm staying on that blue axis. And then I'm going to come over and do that point on the next one, so it comes up with end point, click, and make sure I'm staying on the blue axis, and we can get that partly right. In fact I'm going to undo that what do we need to do here? Oh no, let's redo that. Don't do redo very often. So edit, redo, move. And I'm going to hit line and come in and draw that line across there and get it approximately right, and then I can delete that line there. So you can see we've started to fill it back up, and I'm going to get that line and have it across. So at the moment that's not full, but we can fill that up later. And just H to sort of pan or move the hand tool, so we can then start to hit M and move these ones down. So I'm going to force it vertically, and you can see there's some weird geometry going in here, so let's just see if we can fix that and bring that down. So that's actually looking quite good. So again, we want to do that in here, and just line that up. So you can see there's some other bits that we're going to have to come in. There's a little sort of plinth piece around there that we're going to have to add on later on. But for now, we're starting to get the rough geometry. So we've got something weird going on here. We've got a couple of lines, so we just need to check some of those things. So let's go into orbit and see how that's looking. So here we have got some quite weird geometry going on, so we can just clean up some of the models. So if we delete that and that, so we've got that did something weird, so let's undo that and bring that back. So I'm just going to stop for a bit and try and clean some of this up, and then I'll come back. So I have cleaned up the model slightly, but I want to just check it against our image again. So I'm just going to, up the top there's a tab that says image 2838, or the name of the photo, so I'm just going to double click that, and it sort of projects our image back into place, so you can see that things are looking reasonably well. I had copied one of the windows over, and that seems to fit it in quite nicely. This door needs some work, and there's some other little pieces that we can start to add in. I need to continue working with the slope of the street and bring those down and get that side working better. And I need, we can copy these windows over later, and there's some pieces in here that I need to tidy up. So this little recess, so if I zoom into here, there's actually some back and forth which I didn't initially realise, so we're probably slightly out of what we should be at, but I think we'll be able to fix those up. So you can see it's worth going to the site and really looking at how all the detail works. And we've got these pieces here. So I'm going to get back in and do some more drawing and see how we go.